Hello, friends. It's time for Talk for Dodge, the show that uncovers the stories behind the houses and the heart of our community. I'm Jeremiahjcondon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and today we are here with Matt Johnson with the Better Way project. But before we get into that, let's do a quick market update.
Little market update. We always say, we've been saying for like the last year and a half, 2 years, it's kind of a weird market. And I'm just comparing numbers with exactly last year, and we're down. But it's only 7 sales. But we're down on average. Sales last year was 168,000 up to this point, and now it's 163,000. That kind of surprised me because it's going up every year.
I mean, well, it's been busy. This first 6 months have kind of been at it. We've been busier than normal, but I think this last 30 days has really been a little slower than it has been.
It has been slower, and average days on the market are higher this year, and there's more houses to choose from.
Huh?
But we do have more pending sales right now than we did last year at this time. So maybe in a month things will flip, but it's just kind of weird. And it's hard to explain. People ask, well, exactly how is the market? And it's like, it's a loaded question.
I suppose
you have a couple
get that
hours.
too. People are always asking, what's the market like?
And it's weird. Yes.
It is.
Yeah. There's a lot of forces at work. And
it is. And the one cool thing is, I was just in Okoboji with a whole bunch of state representatives from the Realtor Association, and to talk with them about what's going on everywhere else in the big cities. Things are really slow in the big cities, from what I've gathered over the last couple days.
We just had a Des Moines realtor in the office that was saying the same thing. It's slower. Even there, it's starting to slow down a little bit. There's more on the market. He was talking about price reductions.
Yeah.
And he said, what did he say, 350 new listings a week in Des Moines, and they had 700 price reductions this week.
700.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big deal.
And they were talking about Florida market and the insurance and what insurance is doing, and people are having a heck of a time trying to sell because of insurance.
Right.
And you're looking at all those things, and it's like, come back to Fort Dodge, and it's like, our market's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we are still selling. We are still growing. We got great companies that, go through our list of podcasts that we've done. Like, we have great companies here in Fort Dodge.
We do.
And, we see all these things happen and we hear about all of it, but we're not as affected in our little 25,000 people community.
Right. We're a little bit isolated. We were isolated in 2008.
Absolutely.
We didn't have the big ups and big downs. So, I mean, it is a very solid market. And I tell people when people call from out of state and they see these, $50,000, $60,000 rentals, they go, well, that's a great deal. And what's wrong with it? And I'm like, well, there's not a great return on investment, but at the same time, it's not the risk that you see in a lot of other places. And you've lived in Phoenix and you've lived those places and saw it.
Exactly. They go like this. Fort Dodge, we just kind of chug along at a nice slow pace. I mean, over time, it's just a nice slow pace. It's pretty safe.
Yep.
So.
It's a great market to be in.
Yeah.
And still pretty affordable. A lot of places can't touch us.
No, not even close.
Especially with the amenities that we have as a community, and that's part of what this project.
So now that Matt said it, I'm going to say it again. National average for house sales, 420,000. The state of Iowa is more right around 220,000, and Fort Dodge, as of today, is 163,000.
Yeah, and that's a nice house for 163,000.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, something you can live in.
House.
You're not fixing it up. You might have to change some carpet, paint some walls, but it's going to be a nice house.
So the national average of 420s, that buys a really nice home in Fort Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
Really? You're in the top 10%.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful home. All right, I got a couple facts. One of them is, how much money do you think Warren Buffett paid for his only house that he lives in?
What was it, $75,000 or $80,000?
I was thinking that it's around 85.
$31,500.
Wow.
Back in the 1950s.
Yep.
And if he sold it today, it's still only $500,000 house.
I didn't write this down, but it was hilarious when I was reading it. It's like he's the 5th richest individual in the world, right? And the the 6th richest or whatever lives in a $5 billion estate. Like, it's like the Buckingham Palace or something. And it's like, wow.
He's just okay. And he drove the same car for years. He had like just a regular old car and just drove himself to wherever he went.
His biography says he spends $2.89 every day for an Egg McMuffin on his way to work. And if he feels like he's rich that day, he might get the meal for $3.88 or whatever. If he's got the change laying there. I thought this was kind of cool. Back in the Depression era, we see like the Bonnie and Clyde gangster movies and the gangster stuff and they rob stuff. Well, we've heard of Pretty Boy Floyd. Charles Floyd was a Depression-era gangster who won over the public by destroying mortgage documents when he robbed banks.
Yeah.
When you read more into it, many people never had to pay off those properties after they were destroyed because there were no other documents on it.
Well, yeah, they didn't have copy machines, so
no
you didn't have the original.
So nobody had proof. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, you owe us $10,000. It's like,
prove
no,
it.
No, I don't.
I owe you
and they never had to do
$4.
it.
Here you go.
That's a different time.
There was a movie, Wisdom, with Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore, and they kind of recreated that, and he would go around, rob banks, and he would just burn up the mortgages. So,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was in the '80s, I think. So,
That's
what
so
movie
cool.
is it?
Wisdom. It was, it was actually a great movie. But I think it was based on that Pretty Boy Floyd story because that's what he did. So.
Yeah.
Awesome.
See, that's an old story a lot of people know about, and I just come across it, and it's like, that is awesome.
Bonnie and Clyde came to Fort Dodge.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact
Midwest.
story. I think I was like on 12th Street. I think right by Ferguson Apartments. I think they robbed something there. So.
Yeah, I think they robbed like the Canarum Bank because my mom lived like right over there. Like as it was happening, they like kind of witnessed it or whatever.
No
Oh,
kidding.
cool. So let's get started on this. And this is an interesting one. And we've talked about this a lot. I'm kind of involved in it, and I still have trouble explaining this to people.
Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts.
So one of the things this is for is so I can call and say, hey, send me that clip so I can so you can do this better. But tell us about the Better Way project.
Boy, so where do we start? I guess where did the overall concept is how do we kind of fix the ecosystem in our town? This kind of was born out of, I would call it frustration, my frustration with the system, our national system that I feel is pulling the life out of small towns like ours. Our money leaves town. All of our retirement money goes to Wall Street. We invest in companies and dreams in other cities and not locally. At our first community meeting we had, it was just kind of some community leaders that we invited. I asked the question, how many people have retirement accounts? Almost everybody raised their hands. How many people are invested in their retirement accounts in Fort Dodge? Not one hand.
0.
All that money goes somewhere else. And then we sit here and we wait for a developer. Oh, we just need somebody to come in and do the work. We need somebody to come in and build housing. We need somebody to come in and do this. We need a savior. Well, there is no savior coming. And it's like, well, why don't we look around at each other and say, why don't we be our own savior? Nobody else is going to do it for us. And then plus, this is now that I'm a grandpa with my grandkids, I think they're going to grow up here, and it's like I want them to be in a beautiful place to live. And Fort Dodge just has some great amenities. There's so much here. You pointed up $163,000 average home. We have beautiful parks, and we have good schools, and we have great trail systems, and there's a lot of amenities, and there's the crime rate, I know we have that reputation, but it's pretty low. I mean, it's a pretty safe place to live.
We had the police chief on here talking about it.
Really? Yes.
Yeah, he's like, you're safe in Fort Dodge, and people don't see it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good place to live, and it's kind of like we're kind of a hidden treasure, and we've kind of got this bad rap, and it's like, well, why don't we all kind of work together? And then plus, if the world continues to devolve, and I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories, but if things don't go well, it's like, well, you're going to need to look locally for resources. So part of the concept was, all right, people, let's get together and real estate guy, we're all real estate guys. Let's use that kind of as the catalyst, because that is one thing we all have in common. We all live in homes, we go to businesses, that's all real estate. So it's like, and a lot of us are landlords. We have invested here locally. It's like, well, what if we had more of that so there's more local buy-in? So let's say 1,000 people were all invested in our town, in the actual real estate assets. When you're driving by and you see something happening at a property, you're like, hey, wait a minute, get out of there. That's mine. I'm part of that. And so it elevates your pride level is part of it. And then also if some of that, it's almost like tithing. If some of the income that flows off of those properties, because real estate, generates a return. And again, as we just talked about in the opening, it's not like Phoenix or Florida. It's not huge, but it's okay. It chugs along. If a percentage of that went back into local projects, into like building a rec center, building a mental health care center, and maybe not even building, but providing those. Maybe we repurpose an old building and provide some of the services that our families need locally instead of saying, hey, we need to import stuff. I mean, what about putting up some greenhouses and growing our own food? I mean, so our schools, instead of, bringing in truckloads from distributors, let's just grow it here and maybe not spray poison on it and feed our kids healthy food,
And we have people that are able and willing to do that, but don't have the ability to pay for the greenhouses are expensive. They're expensive to build. They're expensive to run. You have a greenhouse.
Yeah.
Oh, do you really? Okay. So
Yeah.
It's not big and it's not industrial.
No.
But if we have, because again, if the real estate can help provide that, and then again, that can be a separate business. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can structure it. But again, we're providing it locally. It's right here instead of having to always rely on our system.
And tell us, we should have got into this earlier, but tell us kind of who you are and, what got you into this and who is Matt Johnson?
I'm the good-looking Matt Johnson. I'm not the Ford guy. That's a joke out there.
I do joke. I know 4 Matt Johnsons. One I met on a cruise who's almost a celebrity. His wife's a model. The second one's my diesel.
I thought that was me.
That's me.
It can be. The second one's a diesel mechanic and does a great job. The third one owns Fort Dodge Ford, and the fourth one's you. And you're all so different in what you do every day and stuff like that. And I'm like, we're on the cruise, and the guy goes, my name's Matt Johnson. He goes, you can find me on Facebook. And I'm like, I already know 3 Matt Johnsons.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm never going to find one nationwide.
It's kind of like being John Smith. But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, I say I'm the good-looking one, and Matt is the, how do we put it now? He's the young, he's the athletic and very blessed. I used to say young and rich. Now it's like
Young and blessed.
so. But I'm more the real estate guy. I've been in real estate since I was 20. I think I started in Hawaii just as a realtor and kind of have been in all kinds of phases. And in the last few years, kind of got more involved in like development and doing, buying into the hotels and, some of that kind of stuff. So I've kind of diversified. Even my appraisal business, I just do commercial now pretty much.
Okay.
Hardly touch residential. So
Only when you have to.
only when I have to, and I don't really want to.
Somebody's on vacation,
Exactly.
so I'll do this.
So that's kind of my background is real estate, and that's how this kind of came about, using real estate. And this is just a bigger concept. We've talked about it for years. Like the hotels that we have, the Brookstone, we got 25 investors,
Yeah,
locally and all throughout Iowa that came in, kind of formed a group, built a hotel. Then we bought the Starlight, and COVID hit, and now we're rebranding that. But it's that same kind of concept, just people coming together, using real estate as a catalyst to kind of invest collectively and locally, and ultimately for the greater good. And that's kind of what the concept is like, let's do it on a grander scale and then see what happens. It might be a pipe dream, maybe maybe people are going to say, I'm not going to invest in Fort Dodge, but we're going to try it.
There's so much to learn and grow from here. I mean, I bought rentals from you, what was it, 8-9 years ago?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how you look over that last 8-9 years and they've grown in equity. So now as we're getting rid of them, I'm like, you know what, we're making some money on them as they're on our way out, and we made money while we owned them. So it's a great opportunity to come up with a large amount of money with something that continues to produce money over and over again. So,
exactly. It creates an internal system. So people go into your buildings and your apartments and houses and they pay rent. Well, then that rent, we make payments, hopefully not to the bank, to our investors.
Yep.
But then, we're providing, there's jobs. We have maintenance crews. We have property managers. We're buying furnaces and water heaters. And then collectively, if we own it together, we can have a little higher standards. If we have properties up and down our corridors, it's like, hey, let's make sure they look nice. So when visitors come to town, they drive by and they see nice homes and nice siding.
We're not going to let the siding get run down.
Exactly.
Like
we also have that scale of economy where you're buying 10 water heaters at a time, or 10 refrigerators, or 10 pallets of siding, or a truckload of siding to roof side them, and windows and all this stuff. So though you're paying somebody and you're paying them by the hour, not by the contractor, and so there's so many things you can do with that scale that makes so much sense in order to make things cheaper. So there's a big return on investment. So we continue to grow. So we continue to make the house, the world, the Fort Dodge seem like, the place it really is, instead of getting this bad rap.
Yeah, and that's the concept of the better way, and that wasn't actually mine. I originally called it, it started, I was like, how much money do we need? This kind of came about, I had met with Craig Schlenz, who from Avelo Bank, who is the head of the rec center, and that night really sparked it, because he's like, man, we've been trying to do that rec center for 20 years. And I was like, well, what does that cost? Well, 30-40 million. I was like, why can't we do that in Fort Dodge? And it was like, how much would we need? So I just started adding up. What would it take to do downtown? What would it take to build a rec center? Do a mental health? I came up to like 250 million would make a huge difference. So I was like, well, if we could somehow bring that through town, that would transform things. And I thought, well, let's think bigger. And so I was calling it the $1 billion blitz, which again sounds like a pipe dream, but it's like, but it's just a question. How, it's a problem to solve. It's like, okay, how would you do that? And I was like, well, you have to ask. So it was like, let's ask the whole world. So So we're kind of putting together a whole marketing program to go out to the whole world. I mean, Warren Buffett is on the list.
Yeah.
Warren, 3 hours away, maybe invest some money
Well,
here.
maybe
in
we
Fort
just
Dodge.
need one guy.
And we could just use one guy.
Yeah, he could write the check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, at least ask. And then as part of that, I thought, well, this could be a fun story. So we're going to capture the whole thing. I mean, I don't know if it's going to succeed. I don't know if it'll fail, meet in the middle. But either way, we're going to see what happens. So we've got a film crew here, and we're just going to document it. And at the end of the day, we might have a cool documentary or reality show out of it.
Okay.
But no matter what, something's going to come of trying.
Yeah, even if you don't shoot for the moon, you're never going to make it.
That's exactly. I'd rather swing for the fences and get a single. But I mean, if we hit a home run, great. If we hit a double, great.
Yeah, grand slam, even better.
Exactly. If you don't try, nothing happens. So.
Yep.
And so
I love it.
as part of this, it's kind of an appeal to the outside world. Like, hey, let's showcase Fort Dodge. Here's what we have to offer. And I know one of the questions is like demographically, who's part of this? It's literally everybody and anybody. It's not, race, religion, income, any of that kind of stuff. It's more just good values. If you want a better life for your family, we want you here.
Yeah.
If you want to come here and think somebody else is going to save you, don't come. We don't need that many to come to grow our town.
And I was talking to somebody
and we
yesterday.
don't want to grow it. At some point, I've said that. Like, we also don't want to grow to be a 50,000 population.
Yeah, then we have traffic and problems. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it takes me more than 7 minutes to get somewhere I'm mad.
And that's one of the beauties, that we have a small town, but yet we have enough here. There's enough amenities to have a good quality of life. So it's like, let's just make that as good as possible without, we don't want to be as big as Ames or Des Moines. But you look at like Branson, Missouri, it's a small little town. All of a sudden, it's a destination.
Yeah.
And this kind of started.
And our location, the way where we are, like one of the things I looked up in real estate, the world's biggest mall is in Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. We're only 3.5 hours away from the world's biggest mall. Yep. Go there for a day or 2 days and shop for the kids for Christmas,
It's funny, we're only 30 minutes away from the biggest popcorn bar in the world.
Exactly, Sac City, baby. The world's largest frying pan is an hour and a half. So.
Well, you got the mountains, 11 hours away.
Yep.
San Antonio, they think it's 12 hours. You got Indianapolis, 9 hours. We're right in the center of everything. Chicago, you fly to Chicago all the time.
It's an hour to get to Chicago, and a couple $100. It's not even. It's almost cheaper to fly.
And free parking. I mean, you can go out to the Fort Dodge Airport, and if we grow the town, they will inevitably add more routes. They'll add more cities.
We just went out to the airport the other day, and it looked like the plane was going to be full.
Oh yeah,
I was shocked. There was probably like 25, 30 people in there getting ready for a flight.
They're averaging 20 to 30 people.
That's awesome.
On some of the flights. It depends on which one. The first thing out in the morning has the most people, and the last one back in the afternoon has the most people. The other ones are a little shy.
I keep hearing that it's busy, but that kind of shocked me.
You drive through there. Look at the license plates. And we talked about this where the guy's driving from Ames because it's easier to fly out of Fort Dodge than Des Moines. So he's driving up from Ames to fly out of here.
So it's an extra half hour, but he saves on the parking.
Yeah.
It's easy to get in and out of. I mean, the same person's.
You're not fighting traffic down there. You're not taking the bus over to get from your car. He goes, "This is the greatest," and I'm like, "Yes, it is. I should quit telling people. You're going to ruin it."
Yeah, so it's like, let's grow, but not too much. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree, and let's fix up what we have. We have a lot here. I mean, we have the largest OHV park in the state.
Yeah.
Matt Cosgrove's done a great job with the trails and the park systems.
I have a friend that is moving back right now, and I sent him a video last weekend. My mother-in-law was in town, and she wanted to see the OHV park. So I went out there, and I took a little video, and we hit all the mud puddles because it rained all week last week, and I sent it to him, and he was just going to buy a motorcycle. And he goes, "I did not know that was there." I was like, "Yeah, we have 800 acres." And I went over to his house later and I gave him a brochure with the map and everything. And his mind was blown.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I'm going to buy that. I might not need a motorcycle."
You don't even need a trailer. Yes. You just drive it from home. And go on the trails and drive home.
And so here we are, somebody that was from Fort Dodge that's moving back to Fort Dodge, didn't even know about that. And that's like that's a big deal. It's a big thing.
And that's part of this whole project is the marketing aspect. That's a huge part of it, is to showcase what we do have, because a lot of people that are even here don't know what all we have.
How to take that dirty Dodge and move it. I hate even saying the word, but it's something we need to address and we need to almost embrace, that say, this is who we were. That we're not going to deny it. This is what we were. but this isn't what we are.
This is not what we are, and this is not who we're going to be going forward.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Which is kind of cool. So it's like you kind of, we're like the boxer in the ring that got knocked out, and we're going to come back and be Rocky Balboa and show the state and show the country. It's like, hey, we are something. So.
Yeah, and
like
we're
Hulk Hogan back in the day, raising his arm back up after the third time.
So how do you get 1,000 investors?
Ask.
No, that's
exactly. That was going to be the answer.
Yeah,
but.
exactly. Yeah, when I lived in Hawaii years ago, they always said, if you don't ASK, you don't GET. So
when you said
ask.
When you
ask
said everybody's got their money in Wall Street and everything, I'm guessing that everybody's expecting to get a 7 to 12% return. So what do you say to some of those people that say, like me, that says, you know what, I could give you some money to get this going or whatever. Can I get a 7% return or a 12%?
Yeah, and I would say I don't know, and my whole thing on this is not promising anything because we don't know. So it depends. I mean, and we will go after every tax credit, every grant because there's a lot of that stuff out there, especially for downtown and for new builds and for some of the amenity projects that we want to do. Depending on how those go, that can make a huge difference on returns. If we raise money, the real estate throws off a return. It's a matter of what that percentage is. And I don't want to promise because we don't know for sure. And, and I don't want somebody to come back and say, well, you BS'd me. So I want realistic expectations. If this is the kind of a thing where if you can't afford to put a little bit at risk, don't do it. I mean, this is all the money I have. I'm going to give it to the Fort Dodge Real Estate Fund or whatever, whatever it's going to be. Don't do that. But it's like, hey, if you've got 100,000 in your IRA, say, I'll throw 20,000 at this for my town. You're going to get some return. Plus, there's benefits of real estate beyond just return, as you know. There's appreciation.
And like you just said, self-pride.
And self-pride, exactly. And plus, that community flow back, to do other projects, enhances your own family's quality of life, and ultimately increases occupancy, increases valuation. So those are all such unknowns. I mean, this could be a huge home run. Or it could be kind of average.
It could be 5%. But that's still 5%.
You could do something like the Green Bay Packers and have people buy in at $25 just to feel the pride.
We're actually doing that. We need to talk about A-Vester quick.
Yeah, Jeremiah, you've nailed it. You've absolutely nailed it. It's like they all just bought a share. And
and it's so little amount, but they're proud. They're like, that's my stadium.
That's my team. Yeah. I own it. This
is my town.
I love it. He nailed it. Yeah. That was not prompted.
Where's your $25?
So, I'm a Packers fan.
So Jeremiah, that's what we started looking at. It's like, okay, so how do you do that? And I said at that first meeting, because you get in trouble with the SEC if you call it a REIT. But the concept of a REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, it's like a mutual fund company. Everybody buys shares. I mean, the shares might be $8, $10, $20. You buy whatever you want, and then they take all that collective investment and they go buy real estate. And it's typically higher profile. I mean, like Mall of America, I think, is in a REIT. Hilton Head Island Marriott might be in a REIT. Big subdivisions sometimes in bigger cities are in a REIT. So it's like, how do you do that concept but locally? So I looked into. We got a lawyer in Des Moines. Like, how do you set up a REIT? Well, $500,000 to $1 million to set it up, do all the government stuff. Well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So we were looking around, well, maybe this can't work. But then we found with like crowdfunding and some of the other new kind of technologies, there are ways to do it. So we vetted 3 or 4 different platforms that do that, and we landed on this one called A-Vester. And so they're putting together our fund. And
you want to buy in for $25? You can buy in for $25.
You can buy in for, well, it's a little more, it is a little more.
Yeah. $100, whatever it
exactly. So there, in the real estate world or in the investment world, there's accredited investors and non-accredited investors. According to the SEC, our government tells us if you are not worth $1 million, not counting your house, or if you've not earned $250,000 a year for the last 3 years, you're basically not smart enough to make these decisions on your own. So you can't invest in a fund unless you're accredited. So most of the funds go after, isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
So they have to go after accredited investors. Now there's some workarounds, and that's kind of what we're looking at. So like in our hotel group, we got 24 investors. I don't know if everybody was accredited. We didn't have to ask because we're just forming an LLC.
Yeah.
So we're going to put together some entities that people can then, if you want to put in $25 or $100, so you can be part of it.
Because I want the people on the
me too,
like on the south side that are doing good and live in $80,000 houses to be a part of it as well.
Exactly.
Not just the 1%.
Well, can you imagine looking at all the little signs in the yard? So we get like political signs, and it's got a better way in. And we put it in front of all the houses and all the buildings that are part of it, so you can drive around town and say, I own a piece of that.
I own a piece of that.
I own a piece of that. Oh, and by the way, there's a window broke.
Right. No,
The lawn needs
yard,
mowed,
yard
or
needs to
there's
be
somebody
mowed.
goofy walking around the front yard. Can we do something about it because they have ownership in it?
Exactly. If you had 500, 1,000, 2,000 people bought in, then you have all that security for it. I mean, everybody's out
10% of the
looking out
population's watching these houses.
because they all own it together. And then people coming from out of town are like, hey, there's something going on here. It might attract people to move here, and that's going to be part of our marketing pitch. But only move here if you want to be a part of good things. You know,
Yeah.
don't come here and cause us problems. So, you know, be a part of growth and change, and be willing to pitch in and volunteer. We're going to talk about that more with this project. Is we're encouraging volunteerism and are going to reward that. So we're setting up like a point system, like with hotels and airlines. You go check in and you go work on a litter cleanup, or we're going to go, you know, the old lady down the street can't afford to paint her house, so it looks bad. Well, we're all just going to go paint it on a summer day. You sign up, do that, and then you're going to get points that you can use then in the hotels, or maybe off your rent, or concert tickets at our event centers, that kind of thing. So it's a way to reward volunteerism while still doing good. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a cool deal.
Interesting.
It's just something, and to think about this, and you know, the 3 o'clock in the mornings when you can't sleep, this is all going through your head.
And
we talk about this on here, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't sleep. It's where I go through and try to figure out.
That's where all this
the complicated
comes
stuff.
from. Yes, and it's hard to just say it in a few sentences. Like, what is this thing? It's basically like it's turning the system that is in place now, but it's inward. It's just creating a local ego. Instead of all the resources leaving town, we turn them back inwards, and it just circulates through the town.
Yeah.
That's economic development. So.
Yeah.
And right now, I think one of the things people can do, and we have some meetings coming up, just so people can come in and we can talk about it and answer questions. And some of those meetings, and honestly, we're still working on the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
It'll be better me talking. You'll have to listen to us again. But
And some of it is, it's funny, like when we did the first one, it was like, I mean, were we ready? Not really. And that was part of the strategy. It was like, well, I mean, we could wait until everything's perfect. And that's a lot of things, like big projects that go on. It's like, well, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to get this committee together. Then we'll appoint a task force. Then we'll meet next month. And then I was like, it'll be years. And it's like, the time is right. Let's just go. So it's like, we set that meeting. It was like, well, that night we're presenting whatever we got. We're going with it. And that's what we did. I mean, it wasn't even, we were 8 minutes before we're going on. The kids are back there making slides. Like,
So how did it go? Was there a lot of excitement in the room?
you know, I was honestly very pleased. We had, 125 people-ish?
125. And the people that I thought would have the most resistance actually listened. And so, you know what, this really is a good idea.
The more I thought about it, it kind of makes sense, and it could work. If we've raised enough money, it completely changes the town. Mm-hmm. Completely changes the town. Changes our ecosystem. So my grandkids can grow up and have a lot more amenities. I mean, even one of the things is like there's such this trend for homeschooling. And that was one of the thoughts. I was like, well, let's kind of collaborate on that. If people are looking for other education options, take some of the buildings and do classrooms, and maybe people volunteer to teach you how to sew and how to raise a plant or milk a cow, or, I mean, just stuff that you need to balance a checkbook, or how does a home mortgage work? Stuff that we're all like, oh, wish we would have known that, you know.
We talked about, where were we talking? We talked about mini courses. Remember we had mini courses back in high school? And you could take all those little classes on. I took how to fish with Mr. Hansen, and how to,
Seriously?
my dad never took me fishing or hunting, so I'm like, this would be cool. So it was just kind of one of those things you could learn to do that, or learn how to sew.
I took the sewing class.
What's that?
I wish I took the sewing class.
Oh, yeah.
Because my wife and I don't know how to sew, so it struggles when you lose a button. And then my old neighbor passed away a couple years ago. She used to sew, my old neighbor used to sew all my stuff.
I end up at Foley's because I buy all my jackets and stuff from Foley's, and okay, I'll sew the button on for you, Todd.
Those life skills have kind of gone away a little bit, and so we've become more and more dependent on the system. So it's like, and you can still do that. That's the beauty of doing something like this. It's not government mandated, because the government's never going to change our ecosystem. They can't, because every single person has to agree.
I think it's a little. I think it's more than that. I think I see this as almost a private-public partnership, where the public is the private's driving it, and then we take this and go after the funds. We have the people writing the grants. We have so it's us driving the bus, going after the money that the government has, because the government's not going to do this for us.
Exactly.
This is something we have to do. We have to lead. We have to get in front of, because the federal government, the state government, the local government works harder than the other ones.
For sure.
But you're not going to get those federal funds if you just expect them to call you and say, here's some federal funds.
Right.
You have to have a driving force, and I think this is a great driving force. And I think the federal government listens more when it comes from a private partnership than the city filling out the grant.
Right.
So if it's us filling out the grant, even though the city's helping and putting all their stuff into it, it's like, here's some developers that want to make a difference. They're putting their own skin in the game. Will you match it? And perfect. Now let's match it 3 times. Right. Our $1 million is $4 million, and we're making a difference, and we're doing something cool.
And then we can do something. I mean, it's kind of like, I love that you started off with the low price of housing in Fort Dodge. I mean, it's kind of on sale. You look at some of the downtown buildings that we're making offers on. It's in Chicago, it would be $250 a square foot, and we're paying $3 a square. It's like, this is an opportunity.
There was that one building downtown where I went in, and the whole main level's just a loft, right? $45,000, and it's like, that in New York City, this loft is $1 million loft in the condition it is right now.
100%.
And that's
100%.
one level, and this thing's 3 or 4 levels high. I mean, that's a $4 million building in New York.
We sold a building from one entity to another, and I had a different bank do it, and the bank called somebody out of Cedar Rapids to do the appraisal. And we paid $350,000 for the building, and he came back on the appraisal and said it's worth $1.3 million.
Really?
And I'm like, what? The bank's like, you're not getting more money. We know he's wrong, but this proves our point that it works. But yeah, it just because people don't understand this Fort Dodge market, that it's so different than everywhere else, where this $350,000 building downtown would be $1.1 million in Cedar Rapids or Des Moines. And that's an hour and a half away.
Yeah, that's not even that far away.
Which is it's crazy that we're that proximate and our values are that much different.
Mm-hmm. It's on sale. And as this continues to grow, and even as the city continues, let's say this is a single, not a home run, those are still going to grow, and people are going to continue to come here. It's just not going to happen as fast.
Exactly.
The community gets better and better. The investment gets better and better. It's just going to continue to get better and better, and you're buying stuff. You're buying it on fire sale.
Yeah, you're buying it on a fire sale, and we're kind of just providing that impetus to try to get that snowball rolling.
Yep.
And if we can do that, and it just kind of creates a way through the town. And again, downtown is a focus because I know it's crumbling, and that's our urban core. And there's a lot of opportunities with government grants and whatnot, to grow the downtown. So that's one of our focuses. But
okay,
we're also building a sports dome. I don't know if you heard about that, but that's pretty exciting. That's going to be out, assuming all the engineering works out, next to the Crossroads Hotel. So that's in play. That should be built sometime next year. So.
That's awesome.
That'll be an indoor turf facility.
Now we'll have the pavilion, and we'll have that, so you can play basketball down by the mall, and you can play baseball.
Literally in January. In January, and it's big enough. You can have 2 softball tournaments going, 2 softball games at the same time. It's phenomenal.
I don't think anybody knows that, so this might be where it gets released.
I have not publicized that too much yet because we're putting all the pieces together. But yeah, it's very much alive and happening. That again, what kind of started this? It was like, well, this is all part of it, and that became then Fort Dodge becomes a.
They're going to be like 15 pickleball.
Pickleball's at the pavilion.
I know it is.
Yeah, this will be more turf. It'll be softball, soccer. There's even
some of the other cool things. We're putting together a Christmas market at the pavilion for the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. We can have 200-300 vendors in there.
Exactly.
And I think that'd be a great week to put it together for people to come in. We're working with Fort Dodge Fine Arts to have music. So I think that's just going to be a cool thing for people to come to Fort Dodge. Where else is there going to be something like that on that, Friday, Saturday after Thanksgiving?
Especially on
There's
that
a reason
scale.
to come here and shop, which is such a cool deal too. So, there's so much that goes into that. And I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I am too. Can you imagine going in there and it's all decorated and you got Santa Claus and we're selling hot chocolate and it's just it's gonna be really cool. And those are the kinds of things that we want. Working on it. Gotta get the beard.
You got about 4 or 5 more months to go. You're right on pace.
Bring in some hot wings.
Cookies and milk.
So all those things just kind of tie together. It's like, Fort Dodge becoming a regional sports destination, so there's more events and activities. The town's cleaning up. There's real estate opportunities. And then as part of that, the Better Way project, some of the money we also want to flow back into small business incentives, so, hey, if you're living in the middle of, say, Cleveland or Milwaukee, and it's like, I want to get my family out of here. I want to go have kind of a small town life where there's, good food and good sports and there's trails and there's parks and there's fun stuff. Well, move here and we have buildings, we have houses, we're building new housing. We'll set you up to come here and be part of us. if you have good values. If you don't, please don't come.
Stay away.
We just want good people to come that want a good life for their family and join us in doing this. And we don't need that many people from around the country to say, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. So,
Yeah.
and
Honestly, you get 2,000-3,000 people, it changes this whole
it
community.
changes the whole town. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we
And
could
you get the tourism part of it with the dome, with the pavilion, with anything else that might happen. Now you get people up here all the time. There's a reason to drive up here, the shopping. I mean, you just look at what can grow out of this.
absolutely.
And just what we're doing anyways. Now put this on top of it.
Yeah, we
No,
already
exactly
have-
what we're doing
we already
anyway.
have
There's already great
things.
momentum. That's the thing. It's like we're
I mean, we have
such
state
an
softball
opportunity
coming up here, and that's huge. And I'll say it again. Last year, I went out there for the very first time to watch a Gales game, and watching the field next to us, when some girl hit a home run, and the crowd just exploded, and it was so cool. Like the energy inside the grounds there was incredible, and how many people from how many different areas and communities in Iowa were there, and it just made you smile, like how many people and how the Dodgers and Gales support each other. Like there were
That's
so
awesome.
They really
many
do.
Yep.
there were so many Dodger t-shirts in the stands watching the Gales game, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure there was tons of Gales watching the Dodger games. You know, it's like it's so cool.
What's really going to be cool next year is they're going to a double elimination, which is going to keep families here for the entire week. Because right now they'll have to play on like Monday and Thursday, so they go home. With the double elimination, they'll have to play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Love it.
and that just keeps people here. It fills the hotels. It gets people shopping. It gets people in all the local stuff, which
Yeah.
is such a cool thing. And then state cross country at Kennedy.
That's in early
Actually,
November.
in
Yeah.
November, and Iowa Central, the college one's there too. So it's 2 weeks in a row that they have all those out there, and those fill hotel rooms. There you're looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're coming out here because they don't want to get up early. They want to be able to stretch. So you're looking at 2 nights filling hotel rooms to get people into town and tourism. It's a great thing. That's been a good
Cool.
one for us.
Yeah, we're off to I mean, we have great momentum. It's like let's supercharge it and then give people a reason to come here.
Yeah, and give pride to who is here.
Exactly. So if locally we take pride and we transform things, visitors will see that. It just the
'Cause he's
whole
still-
energy changes.
You know, I never want to talk negative on the show, but there's still 30% of people out there that don't believe that things go in the right direction, and they want to talk negative and this and that. And maybe this is the one thing that could get them turn the other direction.
Yeah.
You said that old dirty Dodge earlier, but we're kind of with the Growth Alliance on Delightful Dodge.
Yep.
Yep. Well, I liked, I think it was Dave Flattery, I'll give him credit. He said, why don't we flip that Dirty Dodge script? Dirty Dodge could be the dirt flying from your cleats at, Harlan Rogers. It could be the
You're
dirt
going through the
flying out
puddle at
from
the ATV park.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
Dirty Dodge.
That's what it is.
It's the guys out, shoveling for the new townhouse development that we're building. It's like,
It's we put a cleanup day together and we're all out there picking up garbage.
Yeah.
Yes.
My side-by-side got pretty dirty.
There
Take
you
a
go.
picture of
and there's
that.
always, no matter what you do, there's always going to be a percentage of people that don't support it, that criticize, but
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, let them criticize. Those of us that want to pitch in and do something, let's do it.
The other 70% can get behind
Yeah.
this.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Get enough people working together, we can change things. Because nobody's going to come and save us. That's one of the messages. It's like nobody's going to come do it for us. We have to do it ourselves.
So what do people need to do to contact you?
So we
Someone
have.
says, I love this. I want to put $1 million on it right now.
So definitely check out our website, betterwayproject.com. Is that right? Yeah, thebetterwayproject.com. And I should talk about that a little bit. I mentioned that I started calling it the $1 Billion Blitz. We actually have a marketing company in Denison who is they're amazing. They're fantastic. But I just shared this idea with them, and they were like, we're all in. We want to be part of it. And so they kind of came up with that brand. They're doing our social media, the website, and all that. And they're helping us with the reality show, content. So we've got the film crew, and it's a lot of youngins. I mean, just young people out filming. Some of them are just recent Iowa Central graduates. But we're just throwing all that content into Google Drive, and then the ad agency or the marketing company is putting all that together, and we're going to sift through, use some of it for social media, some of it for the website, but then also for the document. But it's really cool that they're so involved.
No one's interviewed me yet.
No, well, we're just starting. actually, the main film guy, he was here for that for the first presentation. I think he gets here tonight or tomorrow morning. So, and then the rest of the summer, we'll have people out doing man on the street interviews. We're going to do interviews with local businesses. We'll do some profiles. So we'll have a YouTube channel so people can just check out content. But so I'm hoping that people will check out our website, the social media platforms, and we'll have TikTok and Instagram and Facebook.
Fort Dodge gets excited over those things. Remember the Amazon show the Fireball run.
100%.
Oh,
They
yeah.
still talk about that.
I couldn't believe going downtown. The other Matt Johnson was involved in that one, and how they lined up all the cars and came into town. Like how many people? I mean, it looked like the Frontier Days parade. I mean, it was a huge deal downtown that day.
I got to know
You
JJ
guys
pretty
did-
well, so I actually met up with him a couple of times in Florida when he still lived in Orlando.
the Fireball run? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
after it was done, we had supper a couple of times. It was fun.
Yeah, I know you guys tried a Fireball beer.
Yeah, we had
That-
a Fireball run beer. They had the big party at
I don't think
Frenzy,
you've
and-
made it again since, have you?
I don't know. You have to ask Nate. Probably not.
It wasn't very good, but
Yeah, we
well,
had
you
fun.
tried it.
Hey, you try. You gotta try.
You gotta
Exactly.
try
Well,
it.
some having those quasi celebrities in Fort Frenzy was kind of cool. We had hundreds of people in there playing all the games, doing all the stuff. It was neat.
That's
Having
cool, and that's
program.
the kind of thing it brings people together, and that's what we're hoping.
Yes.
Some of this kind of so as part of that, we're doing, and that'll be by the time this airs, it'll already be underway. But we're going to do some creative contests and try to get the community engaged. So one is just a short story contest, and we have different age groups. And first place is $500, second place is $300. So, but it has to be about Fort Dodge. Just tell us a story about Fort Dodge, and then the goal is to take the best of them and we'll put a book together. Fort Dodge stories.
Yep.
Wow.
And then a song contest. Write a song about Fort Dodge. It can just be you on a guitar. You can get your whole band together. Just something, make a song about Fort Dodge.
Does Jared Benson know about that?
Probably nobody does at this moment. So, yeah,
I saw him last night.
Name drop somebody there.
Yeah, I literally was just proofing the flyer about an hour ago. So that's by the time this airs, that'll be out rolling.
Because he can put that on his TikTok thing too. It'd be
Yeah.
great.
Absolutely. And then we're doing a TikTok contest. So just hey, make a video and send it to us. We'll give prizes for that. And then what's the other one? Art, music. Oh, and the art contest. And it could be paintings or drawings or a sculpture. And it sounds like we're going to use the Crossroads Hotel for places to drop.
Oh, to
Drop
have the
stuff-
art out
drop
there
the
so
art
you
off
can
and-
come check it out.
Yes, and it sounds like the Blandon staff is going to be the judges.
Oh,
And
perfect.
so that'll go from basically the middle of July through September 15th. So you'll be seeing more about that. But all of this is to just engage the community. I'll say, hey, let's take some pride in what we have. And there's a lot of cool stories here. There's a lot of cool people here. Let's find them and talk about it. And
Let's make these stories.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I talked about it before, but like the Fort Dodge leadership class to learn about the history of Fort Dodge, and it's like I'm born and raised. I mean, I left for 2 years for college, but that was it. And to learn so much, it's like I thought it was dumb. Like I'm not gonna go. What am I gonna
I'm
learn?
not going to learn anything.
Exactly. I don't want to learn nothing.
And then I thought, you know what? It's a networking thing. 30 people, it'll be fun. And I learned a lot, like way more than I thought. And that's crazy. So like when you're talking about stories, it's like, wow, the history of some of those old buildings downtown. They're crazy.
I just went, so McClure Engineering, that building kind of across from the Larimar, that used to be a hotel, and then it was the Marion home for a while. And actually, before Buddy Holly died, he slept there. I was like, you're kidding. I mean, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's just there's so many of those kind of fun little stories. Al Capone, I guess, was at the Warden before.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yep.
It'd be nice to have somebody that kind of had firsthand knowledge, but those people are all gone now.
I know. So that's part of the film crew's job this summer is, to dig up, historians. I mean, anybody.
Go talk to Roger Natty.
And
get
Natty's the number one on the list.
Society.
Exactly. Yep. And
Man, old man Ryan used to come into the cellar all the time, and he knew all the history.
Yep.
It was really cool.
Because let's capture some of those stories, because then some of that might work into when we put the documentary reality show together, so we can share some of that, that content with the world. Like, hey, there's some neat stories here in a small town, but we're not that small. That's the beauty. We're small enough to have a great quality of life, but big enough to have the amenities that you want. So,
Yeah.
And like you said, we're close enough to bigger cities that if you want some of that stuff, it's not that far away.
When I do community tours, I'll often say, you know what, if you are into the big city, it's not a big deal to fly there. Go to Chicago. I mean, get on the L. It's so
an
much
hour,
fun.
right? It's an hour to get to Fort Dodge. Or to
And it's not that
Chicago.
many points. I mean, if you with the credit card, I think with 10,000 points round trip.
Well, I never thought about this until right now. Let's say you live in a big city. Let's say you live in Chicago. Where do you go fishing at? Like,
You probably don't.
Outside of the lake, Lake
Exactly.
Michigan. But I mean, how do you get out there? And you're on
well, I
the pier
mean,
with
yeah, you
45
have to
other
drive an
people.
hour probably just to try to get out of traffic and get, and then
Yeah, just
go
get
another
across
half an
Lakeshore
hour
Drive
just
takes
to get
20 minutes.
to get a little river that's not overcrowded with the other 10,000 people that want to fish.
So they probably don't fish. And that actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So one of the projects that we're working on is we've got an option in on some land out on Colville Blacktop. It's near the OHV park. And what we're hoping to do is help fund somebody to start kind of an OHV rental, kayaks, canoes, I mean, even fishing boats, and then maybe even have guides to take your kids out fishing at Brushy Creek.
Use the water trails, and you know what? Here's a guide for this much, and we'll take 10 of you down.
So that way, if you're here for a sports thing, it's like, hey, I'm going to stick around on Sunday, take my kids fishing, because that way you don't have to go buy a boat and buy fishing tackle and go buy. A lot of people would love to go hit the OHV park, but then you got to buy an OHV, and you got to insure it, and you got to trailer it, and you got to store. I mean, to just go out for the day. It's like, give those opportunities, especially for kids. I mean, I'm very focused because of the grandkids, but it's like, opportunities for families to do stuff. Like you said, they could come over from Chicago, they could fish, they could maybe crawl in a tree stand.
Yeah.
Maybe if they're not gun hunting, they could just stand there or sit up there and watch nature.
Get up there with a camera and just take pictures.
Take pictures of the deer and the raccoons walking by. It's amazing.
But think about how many friends you have that love to hunt or fish or boat or camp, and they all can go 10 minutes away.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. With the in-town deer hunt, I go deer hunting. I mean, I'm there in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So it's like you don't even have to take a whole day off work. I mean, I know there's an attorney in Fort Dodge that probably hunts every morning or whatever, does outdoor stuff, and he's back in the office by 10 o'clock or whatever, you know. And
my
it's like,
favorite story is I sold a house to a guy that lives right off the river. I'll tell you the property later, but I go, why are you buying this? It's in a floodplain. He had to borrow the money from a buddy who had the cash, so he didn't have to pay for the flood insurance. He goes, I'm going to get up every morning and shoot my limit of geese. I'm gonna take them back. She's gonna do her thing because his wife was there with him, and I'm gonna go to work. And he goes, every morning during geese season, I'm gonna be out there.
That's awesome.
I'm like, that's a great story. He goes, yep, I'm right here. It's legal to do, and because he's in the county, and I'm like, perfect. That's a great thing.
Because you know, like there's some old farmers that even make fun of me for being a city boy, but it's like we are city boys. Some of us.
He's been to a farm once.
Except in pig poop.
But we're a farming community still.
Oh, we are. We're small.
For sure.
We're an ag community.
Farming and ag and manufacturing. I mean, really, that's still what we are.
Half the people you talk to know if they say it's under $4 corn, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nine whatever beans right now weren't doing real well either.
Yeah, that's part of the theory. So if you're a family in Milwaukee, you're just picking big cities, but they don't have those experiences. I mean, a lot of them haven't seen a goat or watched a raccoon climb a tree. I mean, there's things that kids would love to experience that they could come here and do, and it could be part of their life if somebody so chooses. There's amenities and opportunities here that you don't have other places. A lot of people just don't even know that's even a reality or it's even possible or how would I do that? So we're just trying to make it easy. Hey, if you're good people, come here. We'll help you get set up. So
yeah,
it's a great idea for people with hobby farms.
Exactly.
To put a tiny house out there, rent the tiny house to people in some of these bigger communities to say, fly here, fly to Chicago.
Put a tiny house in your backyard.
Yeah, and then you're flying here, you're staying in a tiny house with you and 2 kids, and we're going to get out and we have a couple of cows, and you're going to feed the cows, we're going to have the horses, we're going to have the goats.
It's
teach out a farm for
tourism.
3 days.
Yeah, we'll take you out in a boat fishing. I mean, go out and catch a bass. I mean,
yep, that's a great idea.
Kayak.
You should do that.
There was a gentleman when we did the salmon ball. I wish I could think of his name. He donated his time for a 4-hour fishing trip, and he said I think it was 2 or 3 guests could come along, and he would just do a guided fishing tour. And it's like, so when? He's like, I don't care. We'll do it at whatever. Just tell them to call me when they buy it. And I think it went for like $400.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah. So somebody paid $400 to have to be able to just show up and a guy pick them up on a dock and go out and
take
fish
1
for
or
4
2
hours.
kids with you or grandkids, whatever, and go fish.
Yeah, I mean, you do that on the ocean. If we, in Hawaii, we'll go out and go marlin fishing for a day. Well, you're just chartering a boat. It's like, why can't we do that here?
Yeah.
And so that was the idea of kind of out by the OHV park on that land to have kind of a center. Then you're right down the road from Brushy. And I've talked to a lot of guys who are like, I'd love to guide. A lot of them do it for free, but I mean, you could pay them. I mean, it's a business. And I think if people are coming here for other reasons, for shopping, for sports, and for events, that's one more thing for them to experience while they're here. So.
I agree.
And then our group would own that real estate.
So when you drive by every day, you're like, I own a piece of that.
Exactly. I own a piece of that canoe. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in and talking about
you're
this.
welcome.
The passion just kind of comes out once you start talking about it, once you start understanding it.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's fun. There is a lot to it, and it's hard to convey in a short message, but we can do everything we can to get the word out. And
you'll see things so you can sign up for one of the little talks we have about it to come and kind of let us know your thoughts, your questions, and
check out thebetterwayproject.com.
Yep.
Awesome. And don't
That
forget
should've
to
been
like
it.
and subscribe to this podcast. I mean,
Yes.
Talk Fort Dodge is the
Right
most
here.
important thing.
Exactly. Talk Fort Dodge.
And you see all the other things going on.
Yeah.
So it makes this project
And what
better.
you guys are doing, this is all part of it. I mean, this is awesome. You're communicating what's happening in the town to people. So it's awesome.
We
Yay.
appreciate you. Thanks, Matt.
You bet. Thanks, you
Yay.
guys.
That's a wrap of today's episode of Talk Fort Dodge.
Stay connected with us on social media and join us next time as we continue exploring Fort Dodge's stories through the lens of 2 lifelong Dodgers. I'm Jeremiah Condon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and this is Talk Fort Dodge.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at Digital Agent at spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's Digital Agent at spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.